right, we welcome the California Golden Bears, Coach Lindsey Gottlieb, Laisha Clarendon, and Rashonda Gray. Coach, I will let you open, and then we'll take questions, and a media reminder to please identify yourself and your outlet before questions.
Thanks, all of you, for being here and covering us. The first thing I'd like to do is congratulate Stanford. Such a terrific basketball program. They do things the right way. They have great players. They're well coached, and they deserved, obviously, this Pac-12 championship tonight. You know, I've said to anyone who will listen recently that the more film I watch, the more impressed I am with Chiney and Nneka. I think they might be the best front court ever in terms of what they're relied on to do, and that was before Nneka started hitting threes from 30 feet. So obviously all credit to them. We wish them well in the NCAA tournament. The second thing is I'd like to thank the Pac-12. This has been a first-class event, and I really wanted our young women to come into this championship game, which is something you earn, and you don't get that opportunity very well, and really compete and give ourselves a chance to win and cut down nets. And I couldn't be more proud of our effort today. I thought that we did that. I think we represented ourselves and our university well. I have really passionate players and talented players, and they're disappointed because they want to win, and we didn't come here for second place. But I think the future of our program is bright. I think we've got a really exciting couple weeks in front of us, and I know this group is going to be back here, and maybe we can do some real special things down the road. So we leave with our heads really high.
Thank you, Coach. Michelle Smith, ESPNW. Lindsey, can we talk about Nneka in the face-up game? I mean, there were the three, were also a few shots that were just probably inside the line. Talk about, did you expect that from her? She's been hinting toward that, but really she brought this out kind of big guns today.
Yeah, as just such a basketball junkie, I've been following for years. I mean, I haven't. We played them in the NCAA tournament her freshman year, my first year at Santa Barbara, and obviously just been watching since. And the thing that's so impressive about someone that talented, she has kept improving every single year. And obviously this year, you know, her face-up game has been really dynamic all along. And that allows Tara to do some things with her. I mean, the first game at Maples, we got hit on that ball screen on the perimeter. And then now we learned, you know, to switch that and take that away. And now they're bringing off for stagger screens and almost playing her at the three when they had Tinkle and Chiney in there. So I think when you have the combination of sort of ridiculous athleticism, skill, and then a will to get better, it's just a credit to her, and then obviously her coaching staff that puts her in position to take away mismatches. I think it also speaks to their respect for our post-game, that they know their best sort of weapon with her against us is to face her up a little bit. Maybe against, you know, somebody else, you leave her on the block all game. It's a nice, you know, option to have either way.
Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Lindsey, I know you are a basketball junkie. I'm curious about something. ESPN and a lot of other people seem to have anointed Brittany Griner as the Player of the Year in the United States. What do you think of Nneka's chances of being the Player of the Year?
I mean, I think if there's no Brittany Griner, it's a runaway, no question about it. I mean, obviously the three everyone's talking about are Elena Del Don, Nneka, and Brittany Griner. And it's so interesting because they're all really different. They're all incredibly valuable to their teams. They all have winning teams, and then they're all transcendent in terms of their abilities. So it's a pretty neat year for women's basketball in that sense. You know, having faced Nneka all these times, it's hard to say there's anyone better, but I also think Brittany Griner changes the game of basketball and, you know, on the defensive end and the offensive end. So that's a really difficult question. So maybe I would split my vote three ways.
Nick Hamilton, TG Sports. Coach, what do you feel you're going to need to get over the hump to be back on the championship side next year?
We can be a lot better, which is fun. It's encouraging. The first thing is, you know, obviously, you know, sometimes we miss free throws and sometimes we turn the ball over. And I think the more chances we give ourselves, you know, to put points on the board, the better we're going to be. We can play in that tempo. Stanford's a particularly tough matchup for us because we score through the post so much, and we have an advantage there, and it kind of negates that a little bit for us. But I think as our players mature a little bit and take that next step, I think our competitive fire is there. It's at an elite level. I think our depth and our versatility is at an elite level. And I think that the next step, talking about beating top 10 teams, is kind of having all that come together on a consistent basis and maybe shoring up some of our weaknesses.
For either one of the players, can you just talk about
last Sunday's game in relation to today, and were you guys able to put that away, or did any of that carry over?
We definitely had to put it away. I mean, we wouldn't have got to where we were today. I think we kind of put it in the back of our mind, stored it in our bank a little bit as we went through the tournament, knowing, we got to beat Colorado, but we want to get to Stanford, we got to beat Washington State. We want to get back to Stanford and just get this chance. And I think the biggest difference was just our fight and our toughness, and just knowing that we're going out with the fight, we're going out no matter what, we're going to hang our heads high. I don't think we could hang our heads that high after that game last Sunday. We kind of knew we just didn't bring it all. So we just brought all we could, and, that's the way it goes.
Laisha, Jeff Ferrato, Oakland Tribune. Can you talk about the disappointing start you guys had? They jumped on you 17-4, and that's about the final margin of the game. You were pretty competitive after that, but it put you in a hole.
How exactly did they score? How were they scoring? I don't remember.
They made a lot of shots early.
Yeah,
I mean, we talked about
shots.
getting stops, because I thought when we could get stops, we could play the way we want to play, and we just didn't get enough stops early.
Yeah, I think anytime you put yourself in a hole, it's hard to dig yourself out. Even if you play even, you already put yourself down. So that was a tough start, but we fought back hard. So.
The thing I'm proud of is that if you look at kind of the toughness categories, right, we had 23 offensive rebounds. We went to the free throw line 25 times. And I think it took they had just an unbelievable superhuman performance from a player, and the rest of them play their roles, and that's what they do so well in their program. But we thought the key was stops. We just didn't get any stops at Haas, and I felt like today we really wanted to focus on that, because we thought if we could grind it out on the defensive end, we could play the way we want to play on the offensive end. Didn't get enough stops.
It's more Sills from full court. Rashonda, coach, can you talk about this wall that they built in the paint? I mean, Rashonda, you were going against it all day, and 23 offensive rebounds, you didn't get a lot out of it, but you stayed in character. You always talk about being in character. You guys, got in there and in the paint, but it just didn't pay off.
We just had to fight through it. Like, it wasn't getting any. We just had to be strong and not worry about any calls or anything. Just do us and do what we do best.
And we made a conscious effort. I don't think in the other two games we made them work hard enough on defense. We didn't want to be afraid of getting the ball inside, and they do a good job. I mean, I think Chennai and Ekano, they can't foul. They can't, because they rely on them so much, and so they do a good job of staying straight up. They allow a lot of contact sometimes, and our players are just sort of used to sometimes having an advantage, because we do against 95% of teams in the country inside, and I think that's where you'll see our growth and development. We have young post players that are so talented, and they're just continually adding pieces to their game, and you got to do some things differently when you have those two in there. So again, I credit their defensive effort. We knew to beat them, we had to get easy post touches where we could, probably in transition, and then we had to have to hit shots from the outside.
This question is for the players. At the end of the game, in particular, you two were especially energetic, and there was a lot of energy from the bench too, as far as we can do it, comments like we can do it, let's go, and you guys never gave up one time. Where does that come from?
Just us being together. Like, we're being a family. Like, we have our heads down low. We pick each other up, and it's not the end for us. Like, we still got to dance, and we're still gonna go dancing. So we just gotta finish strong.
And I mean, if you watched us play all year, I was still believing with the last 3 minutes. You've seen us come back, Ohio State, Stanford the first time. So I was still like, we just need something to get us going. So you got to fight till the end. I think, like Coach said, we're competitors. We're going to go to the end, and that's just who we are. So.
Howie Stahl with Tacoma News Tribune. Lindsay, just to clarify an early quote you had, said that
Sorry, I can't.
I think they might have the best front court ever. Just want to clarify if you meant in the nation ever, Pac-12 ever, and if you just talk about the two systems.
I mean, I'd love to actually engage someone in a debate with that. I mean, I'm talking to my friends and stuff, going, okay, let's go all the way back. Some people have a better basketball history than I do, but who did who did Shamiqua play with at Tennessee, and what was that combination like? Or even going back earlier to, Katrina McLean back in her day. But Charmin and I were sitting at a high school recruiting event, and we saw Jennifer Azzi. And we asked her, and she said, well, Lisa Leslie and Katrina McLean were the Olympic team hosts. And we said, that's the Olympic team. I know Lisa Leslie and Tina Thompson played together. One was a senior, one was a freshman. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. But I would love for someone to say, no, these two were better. And some of that is circumstance. Some of that is Chanae and NECA play 40 minutes, most games when needed. And because of the nature of their team, and they have good guards, but they play through the post, maybe that has something to do with it. In other years, there's when you have Jane and let's say NECA, when she's young, you also had Candace and other people. I just think the way that the performance, I'd like to look at numbers of other front courts. I just think they're really, really good. They're incredibly well coached. They're relied on, and they've stepped up in those situations. It's not the be all. My statement is not the be all and end all, but it's fun to debate it and put it out there.
Vin Winter, Insider. This is for coach and players. How does this tournament prepare you for the NCAA coming up?
Well, I think, Tara says it all the time, like the Pac-12, you know your opponent so well, and it should prepare you for, what you're going to face next. And I think we give them some challenges that make them better. And on the flip side, I absolutely feel like the way we competed today should make us even more dangerous in that tournament, next weekend than we were coming into this. We're not often faced with that type of post play, a team that's so well prepared, a team that plays really hard, and you want to raise each other up. And I talked when I got the job about making Cal women's basketball one of the elite programs in the country. I think there's a lot of pieces that go into that. And I think we're on the cusp of that, and absolutely having Stanford in our backyard or across the bay is something that helps us both from a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint. If we bring this type of intensity and focus against whoever we're matched up with, I think we can do some special things because Stanford poses problems for us that we have to deal with that makes us better.
That's well said.
Well said. We'll take two more questions.
Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Lindsay, I know you can't read the selection committee's minds, but how high a seed do you think you're going to get?
Do I think we're going to get? Do I think we should get? Right. First of all, our RPI is in the 20s. I hope it still is after this. I haven't looked in a little while. And I think that the thing that's good about the women's committee is they watch a lot of film, and they do the eye test thing. And I think that we're a team that they should put, 6, 7. We want to be obviously off that 8, 9 line because that's harder to deal with. And I think we've earned that. Really, I think we've clearly set ourselves as the second best team in the Pac-12. We've challenged some of the top teams, and we're going to be excited to go wherever. It's so much about matchups. I'm not going to, be too upset about it if we're somewhere or a number that I didn't pick. But I think we've earned, something in that mid-20s RPI kind of range.
Hi, Louis Geist for Playmaker Mobile. This is a question for you, Coach Gottlieb. The season isn't over, but you have a lot of young players on your team. How do you feel about your chances next year in the conference and in the tournament?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to next weekend. I think that we still can do some special things this year, and it's really neat to think that we have everybody coming back, and we're only going to get better. I think the sky is the limit for this group. They're so coachable. They want to be good. They're committed to Cal basketball. They're committed to each other. And I think that, what we can do is really up to us, and that's a very, very fun prospect to have in our heads.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.